Time will tell. Well, now let's get on with this week's match. Our cameras were at Craven Park yesterday, where Hull KR, third in the table, entertained Leeds. They're the current leaders. At the ground, the Hull Schoolboys under-16s team showed off the English Schools Cup that they retained by beating Wigan 15-10 last weekend. Well done to them. But let's now get the team for our match tonight from Keith Macklin.
Hull Kingston Rovers will move into second place in the table if they win or draw today. The changed and reshaped side, Roger Millwood, introduced successfully at Wigan, has since beaten Oldham and Barrow, and they're in third place with a superior points difference to Hull. Gary Clark is back after pulling a hamstring against Hunsdon, missing 2 international appearances. Len Casey has flu, so Andrew Kelly moves up to number 10 with Chris Burton in the second row and David Hall as forward sub. Injury hit Leeds are still top of the championship table with 17 wins and a draw in 22 matches, but they've stumbled recently with those 2 consecutive defeats against St Helens, one in the league and one in the Challenge Cup. They're without their promising young fullback Paul Gill, who's broken his leg, John Holmes and David Heron. So Neil Haig, the all-purpose utility back, makes his 300th appearance for Leeds and his 100th at fullback. And Leeds will hope to start winning again with the return of their skipper, David Ward, who missed both defeats against St Helens through suspension. And it's Leeds kicking off deep into the Hull Kingston Rovers half. And of course, victory today for Rovers would be a great start for the week in which Roger Millwood gets his MBE at Buckingham Palace. Hull Kingston Rovers inside their own half, trying to move it out through Holstock and Gordon Smith. The 2 Smiths at half-back for Rovers this afternoon. That's Fairbairn walloping it deep down, and that looks a good one. Oh, it's bouncing. Could well go dead. Just. Referee this afternoon, Stan Wall of Lee. Gordon Smith, Lazenby waiting for it. Mike Smith, no, the long one cutting him out. Lydiate in the line. Hogan selling it on me, trying to get through to the 25. Watkinson on the burst. Kelly. Still no way through this Leeds defence. He struggles on for a few more yards. It's the 6th tackle. Watkinson acting half-back to Gordon Smith, to Burton. And that's 6 tackles just on the Leeds 25.
Let's have this bloody ball in the middle now, referee! Please! How can you say please?
This comes. Rovers have pushed them out 6 or 7 yards and got the ball. Mike Smith. Gordon Smith went round him, and that may be a penalty. Still really caught him.
Good possession for Rovers here, and watch Gordon Smith, number 7, on the run around with his outside half Mike Smith, and it's Lesdale with a high tackle, coat hangers him, and a clear case of a penalty there. Stanwell right on the spot.
A chance for John Lydiate to kick his 9th goal of the season and put Rovers ahead. He does so. Lydiate the scorer. Hull Kingston Rovers 2, Leeds 0. John Lydiate, one of the young men introduced in the other side by Roger Millwood in that Wigan game, and that's his 9th goal. Dick restarts. Burton. Oh, stop. Coming quickly on the burst. Hogan plays it very quickly. Holstock, Gordon Smith, the short ball. Squirting clear, play on, says the referee. Hazelwood picks it up. Ward. Dick. tackling fairly solid by Rovers. Kevin Rain was pushed back. That's Keith Rain. Gets as far as the 25. And offside. No, not letting him play the ball. In fact, kicking like mad. So the penalties to Leeds. Well, for a while, we were unsure what Stan Wall had awarded, but he left no doubt with his final mime. That's a good, deep penalty. Watkinson. Kelly. Looking for the pass, gets it to Mike Smith. And another penalty. This time, not letting him play the ball. And Lydiate will take a kick at goal. Well, it's certainly kickable. About 35 yards out to the left of the post, as you can see. And a little harder than one Lydiate has already landed, but eminently kickable. A good one. 2 kicks, 2 goals for John Lydiate. Elkingston Rovers 4, Leeds 0. Gordon Smith. Side to Prome. Getting up to play the ball quickly, Prome, and they're not allowed to. Held down. Mike Smith. Their kick. Kelly alleging he was tripped. Let's see if a penalty is awarded here at the end of this. Yes. A trip on Andrew Kelly at the start of that move. Gives John Lydiate a 3rd kick at goal.
But watch this sensible kick by Mike Smith. Defenders have been on top this afternoon, so he just lops it over the top. Big Andy Kelly just in the picture there, well tripped up, and Stan Wall right on the spot. He's picked it up, and the penalty is where the ball went into touch, 10 yards in from touch.
John Lydiate has had 2 kicks at goal, landed them both. Good one. 3 out of 3 for Lydiate. Elkingston Rovers 6, Leeds 0. 3 penalties from Lydiate. David Ward not able to get his head in. And as a result, a penalty. Good kick. That really is a good platform for an attack, and the crowd thirsting for a try. Getting behind Rovers. There's to play the ball. Gordon Smith, Hogan, Kelly. Kelly going for the line. 8 yards away. Mike Smith, Gordon Smith, Burton. Can't get it out. Gordon Smith, Lazenby reversing the direction to Ian Robinson. Watkinson looking left. Gordon Smith. Crone getting it out. Scooped up by Holstock. Robinson. Lazenby. Oh, great try. A fine try. Great finishing by Tracy Lazenby. Tracy Lazenby.
David Watkinson acting halfback. Gordon Smith to this fellow Kiwi, Prom. Prom does well to stand on his feet, and then it all looks to have broken down here. It's all a little bit untidy. Roy Holstock tidies up, and the movement continues well across field. Watch this superb pass from Hogan, and how well Tracy Lazenby spotted that gap. And once he sees that line, he's in. That's just what this game needed.
A good one. 4 goals for John Lydiate. Hulkingston Rovers 11. Leeds 0. Very happy Rovers crowd, all going their way at the moment. Well, are the league leaders Leeds on their way to yet another defeat? Possession lost, scrum down. They badly need a score before half-time to give them something to work on in the second half. 11-0 they trail. A minimum of 3 scores away from Rovers. David Watkinson winning that strike. Burton. Mike Smith. Oof, bit of a suicide pass free, and Robinson, as David Watkinson threw that out, Robinson had no chance of getting clear. There's a kick. It's Fairbairn. I haven't seen much of George Fairbairn this afternoon so far, but what a long, deep kick. Oh, and it's still bouncing awkwardly. My word, all the way from one line to the other. What a kick. George Fairbairn, I said we hadn't seen much of him, but that's 10 minutes work by the forward. There's the thoughtful Leeds dugout. There's the hooter. Half-time. Lydiate, 4 goals. Tracy Lazenby a try. Hulkingston Rovers 11, Leeds 0. Fairly happy half-time, I would imagine, for Rovers, although they could have sharpened up their attack, but certainly Robin Dewhurst will have an awful lot to say. Welcome back as George Fairbairn restarts the game, and for his look at the first half, David Oxley.
The games between these two have often been classic. We've not had that so far. We've had effort and endeavour and uncompromising tackling, but it's all been a little untidy. Leeds, with plenty of possession, seem to me to be lacking the direction that John Holmes and David Heron bring to their attacks. Rovers have tackled well and have always looked the more dangerous with the ball, with the power of Andy Kelly and the pace of Phil Hogan causing plenty of problems for Leeds. But Rovers have lost possession at crucial moments, and it's been left to the youngsters, Tracy Lazenby and John Lydiate, to put the points on the board during that first half.
Well, there's not the slightest doubt that Robin Dewhurst will have asked for much more commitment and power from his side in the second half, but at the moment it's John Lydiate who's showing the way by powering his way over the halfway line for Rovers. Holstock. Watkinson, a low pass, and David Watkinson hurt his shoulder in putting that one out. Gordon Smith quickly onto that. Mike Smith. Quickly to Gordon Smith. Burton. Behind him is Hogan. Gordon Smith. Holstock. The long one floating out to Fairbairn. Then to Robinson. Sliding through. The long one. That's surely a try for Plum. No difficulty. Gary Plum
Well, it looks a bit laboured at first, this cross-field passing by Rovers. A long lob pass from Roy Hulstop there. But that's the ball between the two centres as Robinson goes striding through the gap. Now, he could easily lose his head here, but he keeps it as Neil Haig comes across, times his pass to Gary Prom beautifully. And Gary Prom has no trouble getting over the corner, defeating Campbell's tackle.
Just over 25, 30-yard kick. There it goes. And it's dropping beautifully over. A fifth goal for this young fullback. Kingston Rovers 16, Leeds 0. And this is going to have to be a terrific comeback if Leeds are going to make it. A substitution being made. As Wayne Herron goes off. And it's the pocket battleship Steve Pitchford, who's been out of the game with a broken arm. A last wipe of the hands on the towel, and Steve Pitchford comes on. Roly-poly figure, but a powerful runner with the ball. But in the meantime, it's Kingston Rovers who are running powerfully with the ball. And Lazenby, who I think feels that he got a crack, and it's offside. Leeds, Kevin Dick and David Heatherwood caught well offside. Now will John Lydiate go for goal as Steve Pitchford finally runs on? There's Pitchford, and in a moment Lydiate going for his 6th successful kick. Straight in line with the posts, about 35 yards out. If he lands this, it'll be 6 out of 7. Crowd's groan let us know about that one. Ward not able to get away from the stranglehold tackling. It's Burton that made that tackle. Here's Pitchford for his first run. There's no doubt about it, when Steve Pitchford puts his head down and charges, people tend to either move out of the way or get knocked out of the way. Kevin Rain. Squire. Keith Rain. 6 tackles.
The latest version of the challenge test, Warrington 3, Hull 5. Warrington 0, Bradford 3, and Hunslet 0, Castleford 2.
And there's Lazenby. Oh, what a run! What a run by this forward. Nobody's going to stop him. That's a try all the way. What a great try by the Yonkers forward. What a try by this youngster. Opened up the gap and nobody's going to stop him.
Well, really, this came from... Watch Tracy Lazenby standing off the scrum there. A bit of an untidy one. Finally, Gordon Smith has it. And there's really nothing on. But how he takes Neil Haig on the outside. And Neil Haig, no slouch himself. Shows a fine, fine pair of heels. Stretches away and over joyously for his second try of the match.
Yes, it's over. And between them, these two youngsters are repaying the faith that Roger Millwood showed in them. And a happy crowd and happy young man. John Lydiate's 6th goal. Hull Kingston Rovers 21 and the league leaders, the championship leaders, Leeds 0. Smith, realizing that that might have been an interception, holding on. Gordon Smith, Mike Smith inside to Burt. Mike Smith to hold stock on the short side, and he ran into a tough one. Kevin Rain put the elbow in then and goes off. That's not a sin bin, that's a sending off for the elbow. Mike Smith, Robinson, and Robinson's jaw went back. Is that somebody else off? No, 10 in the, well, it's off, 10 in the bin. Kevin Dick goes, hitting Robinson on the jaw.
And Ian Robinson causing all sorts of problems for this Leeds defence. Not much for him here, but he slips inside one man, and there's Kevin Dick with a real haymaker over the top. 10 minutes in the bin for him.
And Leeds winning possession. Conway, Haig. Oh, full match for Enterprise. Squire. Good running by the loose forward. Ward. Heselwood. And over the 25, and Leeds 11 men are really putting up a fight. Ward. Keith Rain. Heselwood. Dill. Ward. Pitchford's there with him. The dummy by Ward. The last tackle of this 6, but Leeds have come a long way in 6 tackles. Conway the little kick through and dived on by Robinson. But what a brave little spell that was by Leeds. Oh, nice pass. Lydiard. He can't get away. Now, can the 2 men extra work now? Hall, Hogan, Smith, Fairbairn, Clark. No, Haig got him. Fairbairn. Hall. Smith, Mike Smith. Hall back.
George Fairbairn acting halfback. David Hall taking the ball in field. Burton on the dummy run. The long ball to Hogan and back inside to Mike Smith. A brave last-ditch tackle by Kevin Squire, and that pass just forward as David Hall backs up and goes between the posts.
And it looks as if David Laws is coming on for Mike Smith. As Leeds go into the attack. That's Tony Burke as Leeds go for a consolation score, which I think they richly deserve on their performance in the last 10 minutes or so. Dick, Ward, 10 minutes remaining. Haig, Pitchford. Oh, Steve Pitchford's in. Steve Pitchford, the man whose roly-poly figure betrayed, I think, several months out of the game.
Brave try here for these, set up by Kevin Dick, holding off Hogan's tackle, getting the ball away one-handed. David Ward, the distributor. Nick Hale in the line. Now watch Steve Pitchford, a hard man to stop when he gets the line in his sights, and he battles over for this consolation try.
Good kick. Kevin Dick lands the goal. Hull Kingston Rovers 21, Leeds 5, and Kevin Dick's 73rd goal of the season. Kelly, Watkinson, Burton, dear me. Oh, appalling handling. Well, hardly First Division Championship handling. Ward. Oh, that was a crack. But Mr. Ward says with his shoulder, there's Dick. The Squire going for a drop goal. He landed it. Well, why not, says the lad. Get my name in the scorebook. 21-6. Squire the drop goal. Man of the match That's Tracy Lazenby. Hull Kingston Rovers 21, Leeds 6. That's Cooper. Leeds finishing strongly. Dick. Leeds trying to break away from their own half. Tracy Lazenby, man of the match, hurt himself, in fact, going for his second try, but happy enough now. Keith Rain getting it out. Dick. Haig. Pitchford. Oh, enterprising stuff. Good catch by Burke. Well, just 2 minutes remaining. This is about as competitive as it's been throughout the game, and Mr. Wall gives the penalty. Kevin Dick played it himself. Runs past the injured Keith Rain, and there's Conway opening up. What a great run by young Mark Conway, and again one must say, why didn't Leeds show this early on? Would have been a much different game, unless of course Rovers resting on their laurels. One never knows. Here's Ward. Burke. Dick, Ward, Pitchford again, score of the... Oh, and he got it out. Dick. Intercepted by Robinson. After that punch basketball type pass by Kevin Dick. 1 minute left. Holstock to Robinson. Well, is the time for the final try for Rovers. Leeds have nothing goes since the disasters in the middle of the second half when Rain was dismissed and Dick went to the sin bin. Here's Robinson, Hogan, Fairbairn, up to the 25, into the last minute. Hall lost possession and a forward pass. There's the hooter. A clear and convincing 60 minutes by Hull Kingston Rovers. In the last 20 minutes, Leeds came right back into it to get their try from Pitchford, a goal from Dick and a drop goal from Squire. But by then, the game was lost and all to be salvaged was pride. Final score.
It's providing such a thrilling climax to the end of this season. Just take a look at the league positions before yesterday's games. Leeds still top, although the gap had been closing after some indifferent form by the men from Headingley. The two Hull giants, as well as Wigan and St Helens, were just waiting for any further slips.